This is Xpressive. It has been a very eventful year.
Yes, it has.
As many of you have experienced, we have had a lot of happenings in the country, and especially in entertainment and the internet. We've seen a lot of memes, a lot of new characters develop. And so we're here this morning to review the biggest trends of the year 2021. This should be fun. That song that just passed was from Black Sherif. It had a line in the Kweku Frimpong that became a big trend also. Happens to be one of our editors also, Kweku Frimpong. So he claims this morning that he's the biggest trend of the year.
We agree.
But whatever it is, we're here to review the biggest trends of the year 2021. With us this morning is television personality MzGee and CEO of Kobby Kyei News, Kobby Kyei, the new politician. Welcome, guys.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
And it's good to have you here.
Yeah, you look nice.
Yes, I love your political suit.
Let's shout out to my constituents.
Yeah.
Aguna Diakwa. Yes.
You're making your intentions known.
Yes. Oh, no, not really.
Not really, but you're just shouting them.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of time to do that. Yeah.
We have to impact
Shout out
them.
to his
MzGee.
constituents. Who are you shouting out? Shout out to who?
I don't have
The people of
constituents.
Pandu or whole central.
Whole Central.
The entire Volta region.
Okay, the Central
Regional Minister.
Central Regional Minister.
MzGee, before we move to the trends and everything, you have also been in the trends. Last year you were in the trends.
Really?
Yes.
What did I do there?
Oh, lots of things. But one thing everybody is interested in, when I posted your flyer, please, where is she going next? We want to see when we are seeing her on TV. When next are we seeing her on TV? Please, we want to know. Give us timelines.
Where am I going next?
I know you might not tell us, but if you tell us, we will be glad.
I'm going to be all over the place. I must say that I've gotten to a point where I don't want to tie myself to anybody and to anything. I feel like there's so much to be done. I keep telling people who are close to me that sometimes I get scared about the things that I dream about. And so television, yes, I will not quit television, but I want to sit and say, I want to do stuff about Jackie and Bliss, and this is what I think will fetch me money, and so let me just do stuff about Jackie and Bliss. I want to do stuff about this, and let me just produce that. And I'm going to a point where I also want to see talents grow. I feel like, and if you know me, I always say that I don't want to do this forever. I feel like I want to be at home and pick a phone and say, hey, is that you on TV? I didn't teach you this. Or is that you on TV? I love the way you did this. I feel like there are so many talents out there that need to be, groomed.
So you have accepted it to some Magajiaro.
They call me Mamaga all the time. I don't know how that name came about.
Mamaga.
So I feel like I want to assume that position now, Mamaga, and have other people also flourishing.
That's really honorable.
But I disagree with that. Because we've not had so much, even though you've been around for a minute, we've not had you so much.
I'll still be here.
I'm not quitting.
I'm not quitting TV.
So your show's
that's how
coming
come
on
an
TV
invitation
soon.
like this I would honor, because I hear people say all the time, oh, we want to hear what you think about this. I'll honor. But I want to do specific things by myself. So I'm not quitting TV.
Makes sense.
You still hear me. My YouTube is even there. I'm very vocal. So you still hear me. I can't even be quiet. Even if I want to.
Well.
Thank you.
Congrats on everything in the last year. You really did your thing.
I've been trying.
You pushed very hard.
I'm being motivated. Like people like Kobby Kyei, when I see him, I said, the last time I said, me ba mo hono bi. Like he said, your hono the me ba mo space. So your hono the air true kakra. That's what he told me. But
Kobby Kyei also really you've been really consistent. You've done a good job. Finally, people are recognizing the kind of work you have done over the years. You've written about a lot of these trends also during the year. Which of this really stuck out to you when some of these trends blew up on the internet?
For me, it was the fact that we had amazing talent coming up, the likes of Jackie, the likes of Black Sherif, because I keep saying that we are in an industry where we don't really have an agenda, because when you go to the other world, or other parts of the world, it's a conscious effort in introducing acts every year. So for instance, we can't just have the likes of Stonebwoy, Sak, Shatta Samini at the top all the time. So it should be a conscious effort to introduce new acts. So let's say in 2022, what is the industry agenda in introducing emerging acts? And so you notice that a lot of people in 2021 were really happy when we saw Jackie, and the media did a lot to push these acts. Bloggers, all of us, we had Black Sherif, Jackie, name them, countless. So I think that should be the agenda. In 2022, I feel that should be the order of the day. Let's make a deliberate attempt in pushing emerging acts so that we'll have, the same names I talk all the time, because it is an ecosystem. Once these guys are blowing up, it helps you, the media, personally, because if you're looking for these top acts and you don't get to them, there are a lot of acts. If there are shows that we don't have, the big acts are charging huge amounts.
These ones,
you notice that these guys were filling the spaces. So the bloggers, you also get content, we get money, we get paid. But if you are going to just support only few people at the top, it will help us. So for me, the fact that we had Black Sharif and most of the emerging acts coming up, it was something good for me.
MzGee, I'm sure you would agree with everything that he's saying, but we want to know from you as well.
Definitely.
Who are your topmost, up and coming, or people that blew up for you in 2021?
Definitely, Blacko gets the nod for everybody. I think that he was a huge sensation. You got almost everybody singing his song. I told him when I had the opportunity to interview him that I'm in a house with somebody who is a straight news, politically driven person. But I hear him sing the song word for word, and I'm like, what is happening? And he's not the only one. I see people who you call very, very serious people, use some of the terminologies and all that. But I think what we forgot was that he says, he's coming like he says it's coming like a raging storm that we should fasten up our bells. I don't think that we got that line when he threw it at us. So Blacko for me has been the greatest sensation, the biggest news we've had this year, because through Blacko we've got other people tapping into our market. The number of people who have talked about Blacko's songs, who are not even talk about even our Ghanaian artists. Everybody rallied behind him. I saw Kim Promise sing with Blacko and I'm like, really? I've seen Sarkodie do, and everybody even talk about internationally. Everybody is Blacko, Blacko, Blacko. And I just hope that now that he says he's turning 20, I hope that the vim doesn't
he's
die.
Just 20.
I said he's 19 and he's turning 20 this year, and I'm like, really? And also, Jackie is not really new, but 2021 was her year. Everybody got to hear about her. She also just didn't thrive here in Ghana, got a lot of international collaboration, became, one of the biggest females we had in the scenes. And so I am very happy for them. But I think that the dynamics changed from 2020. Prior to 2020, it was the S guys that were championing everything.
The S. The 4S.
They sometimes limit it to 3 or not. But they are the ones who were fronting almost everything. In 2020, there was a new dynamic. Most of them didn't headline shows at all. It was the K-boys who were taking over from late 2019 into 2020. And so if we are going to be seeing new faces and appreciating new talent, then very soon we will not have the cause to talk about how music industry is being infiltrated by some. Because if you check what we are talking about, which is Nigeria, there's almost every day some new talent I'm hearing about.
Every day.
Like every day. Like you hear somebody today, tomorrow you hear another person. I'm like, what is happening? I don't know if it's true that there's a conscious effort to promote new talent, but I think also that maybe the kind of system we have people who are so used to the norm and are not willing to change. And when people blame the media, I say it's a business they're running. You don't want to come and sit on Xpressive and nobody's watching. So if people are used to the dynamics of having Jackie and Bliss every morning on Xpressive doing a certain thing that they become used to, you would have to change gradually, maybe put in one. So if we have people on air, DJs and most of the time the problem is from the DJs at the pub. Not the people who are sitting on radio and on television.
Because that's what they're giving the people.
Because you are at the pub and you have direct feedback. So if I'm a DJ and I'm playing and Kobby is not nodding, you're not nodding, everybody's sitting mom. I'm going to lose my job. The next time nobody's inviting me. So let me play what will get the people to party. But if I am sitting on radio, I'm TV, I don't get the direct response. I don't see if anybody is nodding their head or dancing. So I'm feeding them. They only have an option of tuning off or waiting for what the next thing will be. So I think that it will have to be gradual, especially at the pubs. And we have to be patient with ourselves. That gradually, with the likes of the new talents that we are having, we'll be able to become a force.
A force.
Like we used to be with the movie industry, even with the music industry a few years ago. And hope that once we are blaming this, we are still learning what they are teaching us quietly, because they're teaching us a lot of things quietly. But if we continue to talk about only what they are not vividly telling us, then we will still become a force, yet we will not be the giants that we want to be.
What a year has been for Cecilia Marfo, right? just that resurgence on the internet with her. With her meme or whatever you would call it.
Her rendition of the song.
I guess people like Kobby Kyei were also part of that ecosystem where it sounds funny, so it went viral. Let's take a look at that particular Cecilia Marfo video, that trend that took over the whole 2021. Okay, we are still getting that video ready. But how quickly, as a blogger, did that video just take over, that rendition of that song?
So I think that, big shout out to brother Sam. So I think that he was the brain behind all that.
Okay.
Yes. So
there was an effort behind that video?
Yes. So he went to the studio to record that.
Or to make it a song.
Before he even made it a song.
I think it trended on TikTok.
I think it trended on, even before TikTok.
No, with the beats.
No, the
one which came with the beat.
Yes, but there was the exact thing, the real thing. I think she was on Facebook Live. Per what I heard, she was on Facebook Live. And you know, you have people who intentionally follow and all of that. So I think the person found it funny and also decided to circulate it. And of course, the ecosystem would always circulate. And it went on TikTok. And Brasami also jumped on it. And I think the guy who did the beat with the Kowechi Kakra, I've forgotten his name, also made it even more popular because now it became very danceable too. And people could do a lot of things with it. So, and it's amazing how these things work. To the extent that even in my church, my pastor sometimes when they sing that song will say, "Hey, Kowechi Kakra." It's become like something we've accepted nationally. And I heard the woman say she's been trying to get the attention of the media for quite a bit, and it's not working. Only this has gotten her back in our faces, back in this. And she was training before now for all the wrong reasons. And only this has got her, to be in our good books, maybe once again. And it tells how the internet works and how just one post by somebody and how we, even if we decide to push a music by Jackie, he posted, I post, they post, and all of us begin to post. It becomes a trend.
I like that. I like that.
So I want to pick it from 2 points. Number one, I mean, the sad part is when she wasn't able to monetize the happenings.
Okay.
You understand? Because you notice that, I don't know whether from her team, because they were supposed to just monetize everything, that people were just feeding off all those creativity. So next time I will urge people who really gets that attention to make sure that they monetize that
So
space.
instead of other people rather doing the song, she should have done it.
Yes, so even if people should jump on it, find a way to also just go back to back.
Okay, you mean just like how Brasami went to the studio to record.
Exactly.
Because you don't wait for people to go and just do the recording, use your voice to do the recording to get money off it. It was bad for me. And again, I think that one good thing is that through social media, like I mentioned, TikTok, we're able to also have a lot of things trending. Big shout out to the guys on TikTok. All these guys were able to
biggest influencers now.
They were able to do a lot of things. So in 2022, let's use the same energy to push. Because for me, even though it was so beautiful and all that,
it wasn't something you were money about.
Yes, and I mean, a lot of quality songs were there.
Hoping that she could have gained from.
Yes, you understand? So the same energy, I mean, these TikTok guys are using to push some of these funny songs. Let's use the same energy to push some, quote unquote, some quality songs.
I think they did it for Jonathan, AK Song Stress Jonathan. It was popular on TikTok before mainstream media took it up. But since we're talking about new sensations and TikTok and internet sensations, there were some actually new sensations that trended in 2021. Dan Parry is one. IGP.
Dan Parry is still trending.
He's still trending. Chili Jonas. Chili Jonas.
I've learned a new term from Dan Parry.
Which one? Guinness Domi.
Gives Domi.
Quite a number of new sensations. Who would you say actually made an impact in 2021?
I'll speak for showbiz. I think that Dr. Likey became a huge sensation for a lot of people in this space. Also because we've been trying to be, and again, not only him, all the skits makers have made huge impacts in this year because we've been trying to be a par with our cousins, and this year than any other year, we got somebody who was at least matching maybe some
they were
good
liking
for
him
good.
as
They were
well.
liking him
Dr.
because
Like
his content was localized.
That's Rasnene.
That's Rasnene. His content was localized, and so you had the people who wanted that kind of, the masses, you know, jump into it. And then we had the Kweku GH, you know, comedian worries, and all those people who were already in that space. And SDK
did a nice job,
you know,
too.
you know, also keeping those who will not necessarily be for the masses, but also wanted something. So I think that showbiz-wise, Dr. Likey has done so well in that space. But with the drama, a lot of the people who created a lot of drama were not in our space. So we thank them for adding to the fun, you know, like the Agrada drama that we had, you know, from Vangelis, Patricia, you know, and all of that. I think they gave us a lot to talk about. And they gave, especially TikTokers, so much to work with. You know, so I think that from that perspective, I'll leave it with Dr. Likey because it was an eye-opener for a lot of us. I never knew him until I began to see his kids and began to see people follow him and all of that. So I think...
You have any other choices this year?
I will go for Trudy Jonas. Yes. So, I mean, aside the insults, putting the insults aside, I think that he did a lot of job to impact us, to open our eyes to see what is happening around the world. I mean, I've had people say that when you go to the Western world, I mean, I went to France. You notice that there are some parts, I mean, maybe I got a prayer festival.
Everywhere.
I mean, look at US and look at Ghana. Every country wants to be like US, regardless. True or false?
Yeah, that's true.
So you notice that our leaders are traveling. They engage in a lot of things. But what is happening to our system?
That's true. That's true.
I can boldly say for a fact that politicians in Ghana, none of them have their wars in Saito. I mean, attending Saito.
Well, that's not possible.
Saito.
It will be very, very rare.
Yes, it will be. Exactly. They are giving them the quality education. Even if our ministers have issues with their health, they travel. But you expect me
to be here.
So I think Trudy Jonas was able to press them.
Has anything changed?
I was just coming to that.
You know, the point is that now it has...
Well, you conscientize first, right?
Exactly. It's not from 0, 1, 2, 3.
It began to look also like like an
attack.
And then it looked like he was telling lies at certain points because saying that, oh, Kamichini, blah, you know, people.
No, so let's just focus on the positive side of what he was doing.
And that's how people will dwell on the trivialities. If you're coming clean to tell us something, come clean. Don't make us look like, tell us what looks like. You yourself are having it very rosy when you're not. Yes, we can see the buildings, but how true is it that the things that you say, yes, you can see the buildings. How true is it that the car you say you drive is truly the car you drive? How true? You can rather change the narrative to say, and I'm not saying this for a fact, that look, because of the hardship here in Ghana, I have migrated to somebody's country and I'm still an illegal being there. If you fix my country, I'll come back. I think some of the narratives should have been, you know, better packaged. Then some of us will begin to, much as he's throwing light to us, but some of the things look like it's cooked. Like you're saying, I still have that video on my phone. When I went to the US, the toll booth was rusty. A toll booth that was so rusty, and I'm like, I haven't seen a toll booth like this in Ghana. I saw people selling traffic, but they never tell us that.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so I took videos of that. I'm like, this is even the US. So, but I'm not saying that it's all rosy here, but tell us, paint a better picture. Tell us, let me empathize with you and say, if the system was better, you wouldn't be there, you know, as an illegal person like people are saying you are, rather than tell me that you're driving a car that you don't own. So you begin to take my attention away from the truth you're trying to tell me to the lies you're trying to use to manipulate me, and I don't want to be manipulated.
That's an interesting point. Talking about manipulation as well, and back to Dampari. Just this 31st that I saw one of my favorite pastors say that we are Bema Shenkom. If you're brave enough, you know, come out with these prophecies. How impactful has Dampari been as an IGP, just generally with our social lives?
For me, I think that he's doing an amazing work. I mean, we've seen him train all the time on social media. And so, number one, it's about impact, humanity, service for, integrity. And so, for me, I've seen IGPs come do their thing, but for me, this man stands out. And I hope that will continue. Especially, I am actually waiting to rank him 100% in 2024.
You didn't rank him 100 after you arrested Shatawale?
No. Because election.
Shatawale them are not just the only
election, exactly.
Ghana.
Election.
High-profile people.
Yes, election years when you're going to see
if you really be manipulated.
Exactly. So for me, I am patiently, I mean, I've told that I'm looking forward to seeing his reaction election year and how some of the decisions that he will take. I mean,
that's if he's not taking off before then.
That's another point. That's another point.
This man has worked so hard that I feel like if anything happens to Dan Parry that the people feel is not legal or genuine, we are the ones who do the protest on his behalf. And that's the kind of thing I like, where people you're working for feel like you deserve to be here. You're not supposed to be taken away. And I think gradually that's what he's doing. I've seen the human. Yesterday I was driving from the Spinks's Road. I had to see the GP1 to realize that that's the IGP going wherever.
It was quiet.
It was
very quiet.
No, this might be in a tropical.
I'll tell you something for a fact. This siren thing is very serious about it.
And there's some sanity, even in our space. Like the people who, excuse me to say, I knew to be very loud mouth. They've gone quiet. You know, even me, I get scared because
if you say something,
you're just very, very cautious of your environment, what you're saying, how you're saying it, because people have been in quotes used as scapegoats, and if those people who claimed they were high and mighty were able to, who am I? Whom am I in the scheme of affairs? You know, so I'm seeing this man treating us as though he was one of us, and even if you hear the way he speaks, I'm like, I remember having a conversation, which is, I'll tell you off camera with somebody in this, so the way this man speaks, you should say the man, don't be saying just a talk. So we had a conversation off, you know, but I feel that this is somebody who says, these people are humans. I will treat them the way I would treat my children, scold them when I need to scold them, make them feel like they're comfortable. And I think that we've had a very, very smooth running since, especially in this space, because you're very, very, Dan Parry is coming and everybody.
And then on 31st, that was strange.
I tell you what, I give him all the marks for the 31st.
It was strange.
So we have now
have a country today because we did not hear who was going to die or who was going to stay alive. Everything just became more sane. But let's stay in entertainment.
No, but before that, let's even speak about, I mean, still on Dan Parry, I think that what will also enhance his work is resources. Because if you're going to give him all the accolades and the government is also not going to give him the power to feel free to work, the resources. So I plead on the government to also make sure that they give him the needed support, the resources. To work. Because I've seen him travel from Accra to other parts of the country. Because I've noticed that most of the IGPs, it is Accra.
Or maybe they don't tape it.
You understand?
You might not be sure. Maybe they don't tape it. You know, these people are taping everything they're doing, and that's why we are seeing it.
And
so maybe the
important.
other IGPs, that's another thing that we should introduce.
Documentation.
This guy is taping everything, so we get to see. And so once we see, that's how come he's winning our hearts. So maybe the previous ones they didn't tape it, and that's the difference. This guy is showing that I'm a modern guy. You need to see what I'm doing so that tomorrow you don't come and question, what did the IGP even do? You know, that kind of thing. So I love the fact, and your resource part, there's one tape I watched him saying that there were no motorbikes available where he was at the time, and he was even telling them that they've is it discharged or dispatched?
Or whatever.
I think they dispatched them. I don't know. About 100 of them. He doesn't know why the location he was at that moment didn't have a motorbike, and so he was telling his people that they should try and get so the resources, if they were available to him, I'm sure that he'll be able to work even better. Than
another thing I want you to talk about briefly is the Fix the Country movement. It looks like in 2021, the youth of Ghana got some sort of awakening or realization that, you know, there's something going on in the country, and it was quite, I mean, it trended for quite some time now. I know that Kobby Kyei, you followed it very, very keenly and very, very closely. Big shout out to Kyei for starting this movement. But how impactful has this movement been?
For me, number one, it made me realize that social media is powerful. Because over the years, we've seen, I mean, I don't want to mention names, but big politicians sit on radio, on TV, speaking, I mean, on your platform, speak all the big English, but we're not seeing the results. I watch a lot of platforms, and it is just blame games. You notice that this communicator is coming from NDC, this one from MPP. Let's talk about health. There's something that we need to fix at Kolebu. Then, when you guys came to power, you didn't do it. MPP, when you guys came, what do you do? The following day, same problem. When you guys came.
They're going to continue.
So the youth of Ghana sat down. I mean, like I mentioned, big shout out to Kali J.
Yeah.
Sat down and said, yo. So I think it was something that school children, I mean.
It just triggered.
Exactly. Just triggered, just tweeted. And everybody just, because as I did, so now I tired.
It was too much.
It was too much.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, people really want to voice out.
Yes.
Now, we don't have, because when you look at, when you follow the radio stations, they have people that, I mean, they pay all the time to call. I mean, they call them serial callers or something.
Serial callers.
So even if you want to call, it will be difficult for you to even call. If you call, they will even pick. The same people. That's one I go man in the central region. His voice is always on radio, on all the platforms. So I asked myself, is this the only person in Ghana addressing issues? So social media now gave us another influence that regardless of affiliation, and this is the time where I saw that, Charlie, this man is an MPP man, but he's telling the truth.
Yes. Which is important.
Exactly. Right? And another advantage was that the world was watching. Social media, the world is watching. And so our leaders were like, yo, we need to sit up.
Sit well.
I'll tell you what, so much happened this year. Can I get both of you back on the set tomorrow?
Yes, so. I'm available.
There's a lot more to talk about.
Yes.
But please, can you allow MzGee talk about the Fix the Country before we go?
Yes. So before we conclude.
So that we wrap up on Fix the Country.
So now again, you notice that a lot of things.
So you want to continue?
My final Fix the Country.
Seconds.
So you saw pictures of the private areas and school.
Yes.
I mean, those days it would take GHOne to travel.
But now,
Gideon, what's the name of the guy? There's a guy here.
Yes,
Gideon.
Yes.
Asidiba. Godwin. It will take him to go to the water to go and cover those news.
Yeah.
But social media,
people
you have your phone.
You
just capture, you're just passing there every day.
Yeah.
Take a picture, tweet, then it is right to
viral.
So I will urge, if you are watching us, the Fix the Country, it is on. The hit
hasn't
on
ended.
back to
Let's
back.
continue.
Let's do for our next generation. They
For
must
God
enjoy.
and country.
Yeah.
MzGee.
Very brilliant initiative. I tell people that it started from 2020, not exactly Fix the Country, but celebrities started having their voice permanently. And since then, nobody has gone quiet, except those people who feel like, I don't want to be in trouble. When it was election, look at the factions. Everybody was talking. This person says this. And then I think people began to say, if the people that we're looking up to are speaking about things, then if it's not going well, we should come back. And some of the celebrities have been in trouble for this kind of things, which is good. So it keeps you on your toes. So tomorrow when Jackie say you are going to say something for party A, you should be careful that in 20 whatever will come for you. And I want to congratulate Ifeodo. Look, I don't see any woman who has been abused, used, called all kinds of names, but didn't care and said, I'm still doing this. Until finally she said, look, I care for my life. And if all of us were able to find that strength to hit the street, because I'm saying this because she's female,
a woman,
and you know the kind of things people will say about you, the men will not get that backlash like you would get. And so I feel like if all of us, and Yvonne Nelson has been doing this also by herself for quite a bit,
for a long time.
Yes. So if all of us will be truthful to ourselves and say, forget whatever they'll call me and whatever, let me speak truth to power, I think that a lot more times we'll fix this country with our mouth, with the power of social media, because they can't take the heat if it is, too much for them. And like you said, the world is watching as well.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Amazing.
And let me also comment. Somebody, I forget what's her name. Lydia Forson is always spoken about things that have bothered her in terms of governance and the rule of the country. We have a lot more to talk about. Let's get you guys back tomorrow to continue.
Yes,
and lots of
things we need to talk about.
There's tension between presenters and artists. Let's talk about that tomorrow. Let's go on to talk about some politicians, Kennedy Japan, and all of these people. It's been a long year. And
Speaker of Parliament.
And 1 hour is not really enough. The third gentleman in the country, what's happening in Parliament in terms of voting, what's it called? 1.75 e-levy. That's a big topic also for everybody who loves Momo. And so
we definitely continue tomorrow.
Let's do that tomorrow.
Well, today we continue what we started yesterday, and yesterday was fun. It was very exciting with our favorite people here on the show. But like we were saying yesterday, 2021, very, very eventful. Some fun moments, some tears. Yes, some were crying actually. And it was actually a year that lots of the Ghanaian youth had an awakening because we had the Fix the Country demonstration as well. And it was a year that some events also exceeded our expectations. Some events actually trended and over-trended. We'll talk about all of that. And of course, I have my favorite person here, MzGee. She knows that I love her to the bone and back. And I have Kobby Kyei. Kobby Kyei, I love you too.
Kobby Kyei is not a politician today. He's from Rapaholic.
Yeah, he's from, yes.
Hey.
So yesterday we did, you know, a little bit about what happened in 2021. We spoke about new sensation. We mentioned Black Sheriff. We mentioned Dampare, the demonstration, Fix the Country. Do you have any more you want to add before we move on to the events?
Maybe towards the end, because I don't want to dilute what we're about to talk about. So towards the end, yeah.
Okay.
Towards the end. So let's talk about events that went on in 2021. Events that blew your mind. Events that lived up to the expectation and more.
Top-notch 3 music awards.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
That's some of us even who sat on the board didn't see it coming. Every time we talked about production, we all said, oh, what's going to happen this year? And when it finally happened, we're like, whoa. You've raised the bar to an extent that if you don't stay or even exceed that, you would be, you know, called out, you know. So 3 music top-notch events that happened earlier in the year in March. Of course, Kiddy won the Artist of the Year. And then fast forward, let's come down to December. I think Ghana Music Awards also had 2 days. You know, I think the previous year also we had 2 days. So 2 days. The thing about Ghana Music Awards, apart from everything that happened, you know, was the IMG bit, whether Dinah was winning or Kiddy was winning. So that was also an event that definitely will go down as one of the memorable ones in 2021. Then December to remember. You know, as in the dirty December.
The entire December.
The entire December. Like, shout to every artist who did a show or played a show in December. I think that we have, over the period, shown that this is a Christmas destination, a holiday destination, especially in December, for all those in the diaspora. And I think that it began with the year of return. And beyond the return, even though COVID was there, people are still coming. Everybody's event was sold out. Wilderland, beautiful events. First of its kind. Sadiq, I always tell you that you're a wizard. I tell him every time, I say, Sadiq, you're a wizard. I want some of your wizardry. But Wilderland was beautiful. Rapaholic. Samini's festival, which I attended, was beautiful. Kim Promise. Jackie, even Jackie had a show that was sold out. I'm not saying even Jackie because I don't believe in her, but she's quite young in the industry. And so everybody that played a show in December did extremely well. The Beam concert and all of that, everybody did well. So for me, I can remember the 3 Music Awards as my favorite event of the year 2021, but all the rest also.
I think, production-wise, that was such a stellar event. Absolutely stellar event.
So I also start from 3 Music because over the years, looking forward to see the wow factor of our scheme. I mean, we've been watching the Grammys, the BETs, and so we needed that standard. And so 3 Music came to our rescue. You watched and yes.
I like that.
To the rescue. Wow.
They came to the rescue because I mean we watch even from South Africa, if you watch the award scheme. And the production, lightning. I mean, so big shout out to all the technical guys. You've mentioned Sadiq, but David
Tometi is a gem. Tometi is a gem.
And I said on one platform
and David Nikose.
Yes, the videos.
Great graphics.
And I said on one platform that it gave us a different view about our artists. Because internationally, if you are watching, if you are following Medica, Medica need to come on stage to give us something great. When it comes to stagecraft, over the years, our events guys haven't been able to put together or giving them enough resources. I interviewed Kiddy and asked, so why you play piano? Why don't you come on stage to just come and just play piano and do something? Not just, I mean, always coming to mime. So when I saw what 3 Music did, it gave us a different perspective about our artists and their stagecraft. Look at what Medical, Joey, Chris Wado. So all the performances. So if I am a fan of Medica in say UK or US, it gives me an impression that no, this artist is crazy. But Behind the scenes, you don't even know what happened. So it gave us the idea that no, it can be achieved. So in going forward, I mean, they set a standard. So this year, I'm hoping that they also raise the bar so that people will also throw that eyeball to Ghana in terms of our skills. So that when we invite other artists to even come and perform, or when we nominate an African artist or somebody international, they'll be able to recognize it. Because people pay attention to details. And so I'm happy that it came out. I mean, Ricky, Tennyson and all the team. Again, one event that for me, it was good but heartbreaking for me. And I gave a video to your producer to play. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's going to play it. National Science and Math Quiz.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
People
wonderful.
talked about it. That's one event that people talked about.
Yes.
You had your own view.
My own. I mean, I was ranting on social media, and
also because the quiz mistress has given us a reason to believe that it amounts to nothing
yes.
beyond the screens.
So if they have the video, please speak to them.
They're playing your video for you, Kobby Kyei.
No, this is not the video even I sent. I sent
Okay.
because 4 years ago. Dr. Elsie was on KSM's show.
Yes.
And she spoke about the fact that over the years,
You've seen that
the students coming up from National Science and Math Quiz, that particular year in 2018, those who went to represent Ghana in the Western world were able to, when it comes to the theory part of it, they were able to
do well.
I mean, name the parts.
Name all the theory.
When it comes to practicals, they are lost in action. So for me, GS, are we going to wake up? Yesterday I posted a junior high school boy, 17-year-old boy who's been able to build a scooter bike.
I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these products are going waste. When you go to Kenya, they have engineering department. That department, what are they doing?
What is there?
So GS must sit up. You and I, we went to school. Look at the theory side of our education.
True and
and we seem not to care. So every day you're going to just come on social media to Prempeh College.
Yeah.
At this other college.
Keta.
Maybe primary school, maybe school,
What school do you have mates?
Kuma said he goes secondary school. Kuma said he goes secondary school. I'm proud.
I'm short form yet.
So I think that Ghana Education Service should pay attention to some of these things. They should pay attention to it because okay.
What do you say about the National Science and Math Quiz yourself?
Well, I think that the euphoria it brings and all the things that happen during the contest is beautiful.
Yes,
but I also saw that interview that Kobby is talking about where Dr. Kaufman said that, it's almost looking like beyond the quiz, there's nothing that happens, where, like he's asking, where are the guys who are supposed to be building all the engines and all the things that they learned in KNUST? Is it just that we just make noise, we come and sit down, oh, my school is representing and they won, they didn't win, and that's it for us. After that, what next? What are we building? What practical things can we show that, I begin to ask that the guy who won how many years ago, where is he? What has he done with his life? It looks like in that year, we just carry the momentum. There's euphoria. My school won and my school didn't win. We've issued a press statement. We're cheated. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. Which is not supposed to be.
It feels like we are heroes for that.
Exactly, for that year. And even the ones who won last year, I just said from, what's it called? Presec. We don't even know where the young men are, So we should be able to follow their progress. Okay, you've won the National Maths and Science Quiz. What else are you doing? What can we show evidently that, okay, beyond that, he was able to put together this toy, this robot, because we are here, and also I think it's a Ghanaian thing, because we are here, we are talking about Kantanka, and people say, oh, he only assembled the car in Ghana. So produce what he needs beyond assembling it here in Ghana. If you have it, he won't go pick it from wherever you claim he's picking it from. So I think that we're just about theory. And me, some of the times I ask myself, so the things that I learned in school, what happened to me?
What happened to
the algorithm, pi r square, all the things that
Pythagoras theorem.
I tell you, this conversation is a very broad one, and it's an important conversation because it's not just for the science students, even for general arts students, for journalism students.
All the literature.
You go to journalism school and there's nothing to groom you to become the TV personality you want to be, to become the radio personality you want to be.
I dare say, I'm not a product of GIJ, but I wonder why GIJ doesn't have like a radio station.
GIJ actually has a radio station.
It has?
Yes,
that
but
broadcasts beyond your campus.
No, it's on campus.
At least the University of Ghana's Radio Universe broadcasts beyond campus. And you know what happens to your University of Ghana Radio Universe? They're able to harness talent from there. A lot of the products I know elsewhere,
because that's where you need to learn.
Because I can listen if I'm not even on GIJ campus and hear Bliss and say, oh, this guy is doing good. Beyond GIJ, I want to take him. And if you say you are the institution that produces journalism, journalists, then you should be able to give us better. I'm sorry, I'm not your product.
You should definitely do better.
I agree 100%.
And Kobby, you raise a very good point about this practicality. Yeah, you do.
And 100%, I think that we are joking with our education.
Okay.
We are not serious as a country when it comes to our education.
Okay.
I think that the winners of the National Science and Math quiz, funny enough, most of them are from the poor background. So the nation are supposed to invest in them. They shouldn't just leave them just like that. Because these are very brilliant. I mean, find X.
They found X.
So these are national assets that we don't have to joke with them. We must find a way, invest in them. A lot of students are even on scholarship by the government, but they don't even send them their money. That's also another.
They don't topic.
I think generally we should invest in the
education.
Because there are students who didn't make it to the National Science and Maths quiz, but they are equally brilliant and intelligent, but there's no help. And like I said, there's no practicals. All they know is they're reading what science formula it is or what business structure
is or
something.
High school, we had only 4 computers.
Can you imagine?
What's the case as of the moment? You still have only 4. So that you donate some to them.
So I think that we must really pay attention to it.
Yes.
And fast forward to December events. I mean, you spoke on it, but I want to talk. I also wrote an article about it. Some of the things you have to pay attention. Now, I noticed that there were not enough events for children. And we must pay attention to it. Because you are grooming, you are building a generation upon generation. And you know why? Because our composers are also not finding time to compose music that children can relate.
I think I saw that tweet from a couple of days ago.
Most of the, I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't compose, I mean, all those outdoor content. But let's find a way. One musician can just sacrifice. There are a lot of events.
But I beg to differ, though. We are the same people who come and say, where you are.
No, that's what I'm saying. That so once a while in your composition, let's say Kitty has an album.
Let children do music for children.
No. What I'm saying is that let's pay attention to them. Kitty has a son. My daughter will wake up, touch it, and then down. Imagine Kitty's like 13 or 18 track album. You have just single of them. Sarkodie's album, Shataoli's album. You have one
something
just
dedicated
single.
to the
kids. Maybe they'll consider it.
You go for a kids event, birthday parties, and all the songs that they are playing.
But will the parents buy? That's another thing. Will we buy?
When we're young, we listen to, I mean, all these content. You understand? So there must be a lot of, and again, all the events were happening at night.
That's true.
I don't know. Number one, the event goers and the event organizers. Let's find a way to have some broad day events where people.
Oh, I think there were some birthday events, like what happened at the Polo Court.
But all of them, you can only
food across Africa or something like that. Was
the one White Money was there.
Yes,
around
the world
well,
with food.
All of them,
some of the things happened during the day. But I think that maybe the day is when people take care of their children. And
at night they'll be sleeping.
Yeah, and night they'll be sleeping, so the parents can also go. But I love the fact that you brought this there. It tells how the state has failed us. What has happened to the Ifwa Satterland Park?
Oh, yes.
That's where the children would have gone to. What happened to all the Kiddie Fest and Fun World and all of that? That's where the children would have gone to. We are here and we are talking about our children, but this is the National Theatre telling us that they can't even buy ACs and whatever. I don't even know when the last time the Chinese came to maintain the place. Now, what happened to the park? The park, everybody has been talking about. It's an open space. It was supposed to be for children. There's no one Jangolova. Do you know what Jangolova is? You know, seesaw. There's not even one there that children can go in there. It's not even like a safe place for children to go. So if the state itself is not thinking about its children, I wonder how a business person, will not be thinking about the children.
It doesn't take much to do a park, right?
Yeah, now we have a lot of private parks though that some people take.
Hopefully they're listening to us. Hopefully they'll work towards it.
They know it.
If you don't work towards it, we'll come back here and talk about it again. I like the fact that you mentioned 2 events that stood out for you in 2021. You've also mentioned, and of course there are things that stood out in those events. You mentioned with 3 Music, the extra music video they shot with it, and with the Ghana Music Awards, the whole controversy with
whether Kiddy will win or Dinah.
That was one story that also trended very, very well.
Yes,
do you think Dinah Hamilton deserved that?
The church came to show, love. No, wait, the church came to. Wait.
Can we get Kobby Kye's reactions?
They are using the church factor to convince us.
Calm down, MzGee.
But the fact is that the same church will come and tell us that we don't believe in secular programs.
Calm down. We'll come to you.
They showed you that. They showed you. But we are all hypocrites by nature.
Yes.
I go to church as well, and I don't believe in the fact that I can't go to a Samini concert and sing and boom Atupa. It's my relationship with God is my relationship with God.
But Atupa is there too.
Yes, it's part of life, But I think that the reason I said the church came in was that I had the whole of the Church of Pentecost actually did something like a voting party.
You heard?
I heard. I don't go to the Church of Pentecost, so I can only say what I heard. And it was also because, at the 3 Music Awards, Kiddy had won over Dinah. So you won't sit as church members, as Christians who say you are 70% of the population or so, for Kiddy to win again over Dinah. So where did the church come?
So the Church of Pentecost had a party. Is it Accra branch or which?
It could be nationwide. I don't know. It could be nationwide. And you saw that Dinah herself presented her plaque to the chairman of the Pentecostal Council, if that's what he is. So it tells that the Church of Pentecost needed to support their own. And if you look at even what I've heard, the vote that Dinah had was nothing compared to, or the vote that Kiddy had is nothing compared to what Dinah had. There was no way, even if the Academy, and I must be sincere here, I love Dinah's music, but I think that the year that was being reviewed, Kiddy worked so hard that I was one of the people who was part of the voting Academy. I don't even know if it's okay to put it out, but I wanted Kiddy to win so badly because I felt that he had worked really hard. But again, don't forget that it's also a thing that had to do with voting. It was a 30-30-40 thing. So even if every person on the Academy, even on the board, which is not possible, voted for Kiddy, what happened to the 40%?
Do you know my prayers?
What's your prayer?
That will have a system that doesn't demand votes.
Yes, so that we have people, corporate people to invest.
Okay.
Corporate people to bring money to invest, so that we won't just sit down. MzGee has to work over. They had a review. MzGee has to work. That's because I have the majority.
But who says there's no corporate body on the awards?
Then they are cheating the system. Because if I've worked, or if you have worked,
did this feel to you? Yes, for me.
Did
this feel to you like the
church?
Did it feel to you?
Okay.
Like in this awards, it was the church against the secular people. Did it feel like that?
Yes. And I feel that. I mean, you see, so if you have worked, and the whole
nation, feel like the church was biased.
I'm coming.
I think the church rallied harder.
The whole nation. We all know that MzGee worked, and we give the awards to someone who we think that the year in the review probably had one hit song. But I mean, looking at the work rate, MzGee worked harder, and we give to someone who didn't work. We are telling the whole world that this is our best. So we need to also think about the bigger picture to know that some of this, and I know it is, I mean, the technicalities and this whole business around it. But let's be fair. Let's be fair.
But I think that if I don't know if we're still talking about 2021, so I think that in this year, Kiddy will not be stopped by anyone.
Absolutely
votes or no
not.
votes.
Absolutely
Kiddy had
like that.
2 years running.
They'll come and surprise you. And they will tell you that vote.
Everybody.
Me and you come and sit here.
No, but everybody. Who else can you even put? I'm even thinking that if we don't take care, for the first, well, it's not the first time. Sarkodie also had that. Black Sheriff will enter into artists of the year, straight from new artists into artists of the year. If this is going to happen, if it doesn't happen, who else is going to be there? If you ask me as I sit here, which people are likely going to make artists of the year, I can only mention 2 comfortably. If we're not going to say, okay, yes, because in previous times they did this and they have this. It is straight for me, Kiddy Black Sherif. The only thing I'm not sure about Black Sherif that might become a disqualification is that album thing.
Yeah.
Is that album or EP thing, and he doesn't have it. If they are going to weigh it and look at it and say, look, the guy has still worked, then you'll find him definitely in there, and that's going to be huge.
Let's stay on this artist tip. A couple of celebrities, quote unquote, were arrested this year or had to face the rigors of the law this year for different things. Ekapim Polo for different reasons. Shatta Wale, medical also for different reasons. Kobby, your thoughts on this arrests of last year? That's also very well trended.
For me, I think that some people are trying to abuse the word celebrity.
Okay.
In this country.
Okay.
Because when you call yourself a celebrity, people look up to you. You are an influencer. You're a role model. You're affecting lives. A lot of the youths will go to the salon to shave their hair because an artist has shaved their hair that particular way.
Or a footballer, whatever.
Footballer. Dress, the way they look. And so you should know that everything that you're doing has an impact on the people that feed on your music.
Okay.
And so for you to just live any life and to be arrested, I think that I'm speaking in our culture. We have to be guided. I've seen cases where people say that, oh, when you go to the US, Jay-Z and Tupac and all those, that is a different territory. Let's be conscious about the life we live. Because at the end of the day, your music is there, but your life is there.
And the law is there.
And the law is also there.
Yeah.
So for me, I like the fact that they dealt with them. So that,
Interesting. You like the fact that they dealt with them?
Yes.
That's interesting. Let's hear from MzGee.
I think I'll continue from there. A lot of things have happened that people have overlooked and has given people the perception that nothing works in this country when it comes to a certain class of people. And this was just an eye-opener for this class of people. To see that, yes, we respect you, this is your crafts, you might be held in this regard, but the law of this country is the law of this country. And once you are in this country, you are not bigger than the law. And the law is no respecter of person. So for me, I think it was an eye-opener, not for only these artists, but for all of us also who have been sitting down saying, what has been happening in this country? People, because look, it's not the first time. If you want to even look at the artist who has trended the most, Shatta Wale tops in 2021. How many of these trends have been for good reasons? Contractor issue. Being on radio, insulting, as always. Maybe that's his style. But you don't go because you want to make... Why didn't you go report these prophets then? Because you said to me, what I heard after was that you wanted to make a case. And by making the prophets go to the police, go arrest him. Go to the police to arrest him. Say, the guy has sat on radio and has put my life at risk. Because of what he said, anybody can kidnap me or anybody can kill me. So why didn't you go on that route? Because that would have been a saner thing to do. Than you just going and making your team, I don't know who advised him and all of that. And look at what happened even when he was caught. I want to go to jail. If because of that, I go to jail. You know, some of these things, you can be very, very erratic about things, but you have to be rational sometimes. Because you want to go to jail, but you want to plead not guilty. Or you pleaded guilty. No, you want to go to jail, but you want to plead not guilty. So what are you saying? Sometimes, and I every time I say that, look, the fanatics are the problem. The fans of some of these artists are, sorry to say, the huge, I don't want to use the word that came to mind, but they are the problem themselves. Because if everybody can tell these artists in their face that, look, yes, we love your song, but can you alter your behavior a bit to suit, the status that you've been, has been bestowed on you? It would have been better. I saw recently Enter Morty put something about Shatta and this Burna Boy issue. You should see the DM somebody sent him. And some of us, even Jackie, myself, we have been, and I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore.
We've seen something.
I don't care anymore. Grant me an interview you won't. I don't care anymore. You didn't get me here. And that is what some of these artists should know. So I was quite excited that at least, for once, Somebody, Pepe has been put in some people's eyes.
Well, let's end with one of the biggest trends at the end of the year. But just to wrap up what you began, he wanted to go to jail. That was just for the public. When you enter the court, you realize that you really do not want to go to jail.
Who are you deceiving? Who are you deceiving? And his fans will be like, oh, make it go jail, make it go jail. But the guy goes there and says, I'm not guilty.
Honestly, just me watching on the internet or from TV, when he comes out of the van and then he's proclaiming all of that, it looked very, it looked very Movado-ish. It looked like, oh yeah, he's ready. And then in the courtroom, the report says, man doesn't want to go to jail. Man says he's not guilty. So
I have to swing my
our parliament trended this year, especially at the end of it. And for
boxing, even in the beginning, it's at
the beginning and the end as well.
In the beginning, when they were, getting the Speaker of Parliament, and then it ended also in a fight.
Yes.
I mean, let's talk about their conduct briefly before we wrap up.
The conduct of parliamentarians towards the end of the year.
It's on heat, so
well, she should fire it out.
I was so embarrassed. This is a country where we've touted ourselves for many good reasons. Oh, we are hospitable people, and every time when you see other parliaments fights, you feel like, oh, doesn't happen in our parliament.
That's true.
We started the year with something crazy, and even that we didn't see the blows that we saw towards the end, and that was what for me was depressing. Like honorable members. And these are people that sometimes, and they forget that the title is what is honorable, not your name. And when you don't even call them honorable, hey, oh yeah, honorable, it's all the honorable. It is not your name. It is the position that is honorable. And you carry an honorable position, yet what you choose to do is to go and box. And I saw an honorable member's shirt torn. I said, somebody's father, what I say? Somebody's father, how will his kids feel? How will his constituents feel? But then I heard, I think it was GHOne that said in an interview that the quality of people that have entered parliament has dropped.
Is it?
Yes, I think he said that in an interview. I stand to be corrected if he's not the one, but I heard an interview that one of the parliamentarians, who was either him or Osei, one of them said that the quality of people who have entered parliament has dropped, and that he fears, because before now it was more like an intellectual conversation every time you go to parliament. Now you don't get that again. When you decide to disagree with one side, it's more like a battle. It's a fight that is coming up. Then I begin to ask, who voted for this low-grade people to go into parliament?
Of course we did.
We voted for them. And I need to say this with all the passion that I've got. If we come as politicians to say, God forgive me, when my husband dies, I should come and represent him because it's too late for us to find somebody, sorry to say, of sane mind, somebody who is intellectually sound, somebody who is fit for the position, just because we want our seats to be retained, that is what we will get. So anybody at all can go to parliament. Once you're able to pay, or once you're able to feed the people, once you're able to lobby your way through, whether you deserve a seat there or not. And the shame should be on them. The blame should be on you. NDC, MPP, whatever. You are the people who are deciding who to make kings. And so when you decide to make kings, think of the kind of people you're taking to parliament, because you're representing us. Don't come back and tell us that the quality of people have dropped, because you gave us representatives. And that's all we could have to vote with.
Is there more we can say after that? Man.
Number one, shame on them. Number two, shame on them. Number three, shame on them. Because
for chewing ballot paper.
Yes.
And finding it funny to defend that you thought that your colleagues will rally behind you. For what? And that's what being the case. People rally behind, sorry to say, nonsense. In the name of support. And that's what we're even seeing in show business. In the name of support, then they are rallying behind nonsense. And people cannot tell the people that, you have to be, well.
They have to be honorable members, really, in the sense of the word.
The perception about politics is becoming dirty. So no parents seems to encourage the child to go into politics. Because guess what? If I have that intellect to go to enter parliament to solve issues for my constituency.
Yes.
And some of these things are happening. We are building a generation where a lot of people will be discouraged to go to the parliament. We're not supposed to go there to fight. But this is what is happening. I think one of the biggest problems we have in this country is our constitution. And we need to amend it as soon as possible. Because guess what? Look at what happened. They are working freely.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
The constitution will protect them. So we need to amend it. Or else you and I, all of us, will dream of going there to steal, to fight, and we'll keep complaining that we should fix the country, we should fix the country. A young guy who had poor education in this country, poor health, I voted for my member of parliament to go and speak for me. And I see him fighting in the crowd, fighting.
I think they are just there are microphones in front of you.
And
so if you cannot express yourself rather than fighting, that's really sad.
Oh, we are doing this for you. As if we didn't even watch, as if we didn't even witness what was happening.
What part of that was for us? The disgrace.
Anyway, hold your...
Can I make what I wanted to say yesterday?
Yes, what you wanted to say yesterday before we
It has to do with the COVID situation and how it's been handled. I went to Nigeria just recently, and before that, I thought that we were having the best system. And of course, we have. Because when you go to Nigeria, unlike Ghana, when you enter, you have to test before you go home. Yeah. Nigeria says go home and stay 2 days before you go and test. So if you're smart, you beat the system. When you're coming back, you test, and that's it. But to allow Nigerians come here and create the impression that they have a better system home, and the GHS is not talking. They come to our airport and say we are keeping them when they don't have COVID. It is annoying to me, especially when you tag me on those Nigerian blogs. I get really upset. The Ghana Health Service should speak. They don't have a better system in Nigeria. I beat the system. They said 2 days I should go and check. I checked when I was coming back. Nobody even found out. Yeah. So we have a better system. Yes. Yeah. So we have a better system. Don't keep quiet and let these people come. I'm Nigerian by birth. Don't let them come and tell us that we are trying to, be xenophobic and keep them against their will that they don't have COVID. We shouldn't allow that to happen.
Strong one there. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Blaze King. This is Jackie. We'll see you tomorrow.